And I won't give you a large tour of the residence from three reasons. First, because some of you have already been here before and know everything about the residence. I think it's much better to be outside with the weather this evening, and for some of you it's difficult to stand for a long time. I just want to give you some information about this residence. People, when they came, they said, "Oh, this is the French residence. It had been for the French residence since the beginning." No, this was a private house. Was built in 1910 for a private owner by a French-American architect who was working a lot in DC, Maryland, and Virginia for private or official building. And on Massachusetts, Churches Club, where you can see the Colombian Embassy or the Luxembourg Embassy, are from the same architect. So the first owner of this residence asked for a Tudor castle, so that's why it doesn't look very French from the outside. Then another owner in 1917, Mr. Hammond, bought this house, and it was a very good friend of the President of the United States at that time, representing him for exceptional occasions in Great Britain or around the world. And he was here with his family for a few years, but when his wife died, he decided to leave the house. That was maybe in 1921, 22, after only 3 or 4 years. And the residence was empty for many, many, many years. And finally, the French government bought it in 1936. It was a wonderful idea. And another ambassador, a few years later, bought some more land to be sure that no one will do a house or building or somewhere. So it's quite a large property outside, and I invite you to go and have a look because it's the best time to be outside now. In the inside, the residence, the decoration changed a lot, but mainly that was in the 60s with the wife of the ambassador Alphand, who worked also with the interior designer Mr. Janssen, who worked at the same time for the White House and with Jackie Kennedy. The first room is this dining room, and then you will set. It's dedicated to Louis XIV. You will see on the mirror the symbol of Louis XIV, the King's Son, and it's a clock coming from Versailles. On the wall, and also on this wall, you have sketches from Tapestry. It was ordered by the King for Versailles, and when the Tapestry arrived, and the sketches were everywhere, and finally in Washington. And this room is dedicated to Louis XIV because it's at that time the end of the 17th century, when the French came from the Great Lake down to the Mississippi, as François told you, along the Mississippi River, founded a lot of cities down to the Gulf of Mexico in New Orleans. And you have Detroit, which has been founded by French people, which is Detroit, and Chicago also, and then when you go to St. Louis and St. Genevieve, and a lot of cities. So this room is dedicated to Louis XIV. In this hall you have the portrait of Lafayette, Amiral de Grasse, Rochambeau, and Washington, who, of course, as you know, were there for your War of Independence. So this is a very important room for our friendship between between our two countries. And I invite you to look at the different portraits. I want to notice this masterpiece of the residence. We have two, but this one, which is a tapestry from the Gobelin in 1685. And it was a gift from the Duc de Nassau to Louis XIV. It's part of a series. We don't know exactly where are the others, but one is here, and it's an exceptional tapestry. When you will go to the Empire Room, dedicated to Napoleon, the great living room, you will see on the wall the emblem of Napoleon. Why Napoleon? Because, of course, of the Louisiana Purchase. And you will see the carpet, which is not the original, but the copy from the exact replica of the carpet was for Napoleon, for the crown of Napoleon. And the second masterpiece is in front of you. It's the Bonnard. which is an unusual one because it's not on the south of France, it's from the left bank in Paris with the view over the Rue Seine to the Louvre Museum. You also have two other main paintings. On your left, it's a painting from 1786, which is very interesting, by Antoine Vestier. And don't forget, as you will see the painting, that it was 3 years before our revolution. So it was a wonderful time for this man and his family, which is the Chabanel family. 3 years later, it was more difficult, I suppose. And then on the other, you have a still life by Anne Valérie Coster. She was working with at Versailles for the Queen with Madame Vigier-Lebrun. They were working in Versailles. And this painting was in a special exhibition for Anne Valérie Coster in the National Gallery a few years ago. Then you have a modern living room, which is very interesting, I think it's very different. And this room, which is called the wooden living room, is more dedicated to Louis XVI. You have on the desk a bust of by Houdon, of Benjamin Franklin. Then you have a portrait just in front of you of Vergel, who was foreign minister of Louis XVI. And then another portrait of Amiral Desta. And above the mantel of the cheminée, we don't know who is the gentleman, but it's a portrait by Largillière, which is also very well known. Of course, if you want more details, we'll be very happy to give you more details, but I think it's better to have a nice drink and to go outside. Thank you.